All right. So, okay, welcome everyone to our wellness hangout and wellness chat today. It is so much fun to have all of you here. This is a brand new workshop that I've actually never presented to my broader audience. I've been practicing it and looking at it, and it has components of things that I've taught to people for the last 12 to 13 years about essential oils, but I put it together in a little bit of a different format today. And so I'm hoping that you like it and that we all can learn. Learn a little bit today. We've got this darn waiting room. Oh my gosh, it's going to be the death of me. Let's get us figured out how we can get these people in. We're going to get them all in. There we go. Okay, so I think we've got everybody in. We are recording. This will be recorded. A couple of housekeeping notes before we get started is that I want this class to be for you. I want you to imagine that we all have a nice cup of tea or a cup of coffee or water, and we're sitting around my kitchen table and we're learning about essential oils. We want this experience to be as much of an experience as that in-person feeling that we can have. So I'm going to be asking questions, hopefully being a little bit interactive today, because I really want this to be for you and for you to get what you came for. And so the best way I know for us to interact is through the chat feature. So make sure you're going in and you're chatting and asking questions as we go. I know we've got some people on here that are experienced essential oil users, so they might have some additional tips that I'm not sharing. We want to make sure that you feel confident in the decision you're making to bring doTERRA into your home, or maybe to use doTERRA a little bit more in your home than maybe you have been using it in your home. So use that chat feature. A couple of other things, if you're watching this as a recording, just jot down your notes, and you can always hit reply to the email that you received this recording from, or you can also just get back to the person that invited you. That person should be reaching out to you after this class anyway. And so we want to make sure you get those questions answered. Or if you are on live and something comes up after this call and you have a question, just hit reply back to any of the emails I've been sending. We want to make sure that you have your questions answered and you have that confidence that you desire to move forward in whatever your next steps are. So another thing is I will also be sharing some goodies and resources with the recording link. So in this class, I'm going to be sharing quite a few links to research and studies that back up what I'm saying, so you know that I'm not just pulling this information out of thin air. And so those are going to be shared with you as well. So if you're like, hey, what was that thing she referenced? You will be getting a cheat sheet for that. So now, with all that being said, let's dive into the class. So everybody just take a great big breath. If you have an oil, put an oil in your hand, give it a big inhale. We're here to learn. We're here to explore the gifts of essential oils and see how they might benefit us, to bring them into our home or maybe share them with others. And it is so much fun to have you here today with me. I haven't actually officially introduced myself. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Katie Glasgow, and I brought essential oils into my house in 2010 when I was pregnant with my second son. And at first I was like, oh, they're just kind of here. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do with them. And little by little, I started to gain confidence in how to use essential oils in my everyday routines for my two boys. And the journey, it just kind of took itself. It took on a new meaning after that. And once I realized how cool these essential oils were, I decided to share them with others. And the rest is history. For the last, 12, 13 years now, I have been teaching other women, mamas, other humans. I primarily work with moms and women, how to be empowered in your health and the health of your family by embracing natural solutions. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to be sharing some of my experience. I'm going to be sharing a lot of, just little tidbits and research, so you know how cool doTERRA is and how you can use them in your lives. Okay. So my first question is this. We're gonna, just a second, let me get my slides moving the right way. Okay, we already did that one. Okay, what would you like to address in your health today? So go ahead and put it into the chat. Number one, if you've got digestive issues, you're like, hey, I would really like to find some solutions to my digestive issues. Two, your headaches, pain, inflammation. 3 is your immunity issues. 4, stress and anxiety. 5 is your energy, your stamina, maybe brain fog, things like that. 6 is going to be your sleep. Are you having trouble sleeping, maybe getting to sleep or staying to sleep? And number 7 would be blood sugar regulation. So these are kind of the top 7 concerns that many people come to me with. When I first learned about this, mine was more like the energy, stamina, different regulations in my body because I was breastfeeding and I needed a little extra. So if you want to just put those in there, energy, brain fog, we've got a little bit more stress, sleep issues, those are all great things. What is coming to the surface for you? 5 and 6, yeah, we've got a lot of that energy, stamina is always a big one, especially if we have busy lives, which I'm not quite sure who does not have a busy life these days. And what's really cool is I think you're going to be excited that many of the options you have that will have access to and what we're going to talk about today, we can get to the root of what's going on in your health. So those are the things that we're going to talk about. So just keep these in the back of your mind as we go through this class. And I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone too. Okay, so before we actually get into essential oils and actual solutions, I want to take a couple of minutes for us to really understand what's going on with, how we can approach our health, and also some of the things of what is the root cause of what might be going on in our health. Because sometimes we think, oh, I've got some trouble sleeping, but is that trouble sleeping coming from blood sugar regulation issues? Is that trouble sleeping coming from maybe fluctuated hormones? Is it coming from stress? It's never just sleep. And when we're talking about essential oils, we're really looking at getting to the root cause of what's going in, okay? So let's look at the 2 different approaches that we can have to our health and our well-being in our lives, okay? We've got the modern approach, which is typically what many of the people around us are doing. The modern approach is, hey, if I don't feel great, I'm going to go to the doctor. If I've got something going on, I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to be using OTC items from the big box retailers, things like that. That's more of a modern approach. A modern approach, what we have to understand is that a modern approach is really designed to manage our symptoms. So we're not ever going to get to the root cause of what's going on in the body. We're just managing those symptoms to kind of feel better, right? So let's look at the example of if I have some head tension going on, right? I've got some head tension going on. I might go and I might grab some acetaminophen, some ibuprofen, something like that. I'm going to take it. My headache's going to go away and it's going to give me relief, which is an awesome thing. There's nothing wrong with that. From time to time, we do use those tools in our home. But what if that root cause of that headache was coming from some hormone imbalance, right? Or maybe there was something else going on in my body. Taking that OTC is never going to get to the root, okay? So the modern approach is also has a lot of side effects that come with it, right? Because how we're looking at the modern approach, a lot of the modern approach things that we're going to be using, they're made from synthetic agents, and our body doesn't actually understand those. And so because of that, we get side effects, and we are constantly, kind of continuing this, what's going on in our lives. And so a lot of times with the modern approach, we get to the point where we're going to the opposite side of healthy, right? We keep taking, like, we've got to take this, and then we've got to take this to manage those side effects, and this and this. And before we know it, we're the average American that is on 13 different OTC and prescription medications by the time they are 65, okay? And I want to ask you, are we any healthier with this modern approach? This modern approach that is more of a reactive approach than a proactive, okay? So then we have this natural approach. And that's what we're going to be focusing in on a lot today. This is where my passion lies. What we're really passionate about as our team in Indoterra is we have a natural approach. And when we look at the natural approach, we're really trying to get to the root cause of what's going on in our body, because our human bodies are designed to heal themselves when we give it the right tools, okay? So there's nothing no OTC, no prescription, no natural remedy that you have that will ever cure, prevent, or treat disease. We need to understand that. But what happens is we have these substances that are going to go into our body, and they can either promote healing or they can cover it up, right? So this modern approach is covering up the healing, and the natural approach, we're going to get to that root, right? We're usually using extracts from plants, essential oils, supplementation, things like that, that are going to get into our body, understands them, so our body can go, ooh, I understand that. And I can get into the root of what's going on. Okay. And so here's what I really want you to understand as we go into this. A lot of people think, oh, if I start using holistic wellness options, I can't use, oh my gosh, maybe I'll get shamed if I go to the doctor. That's absolutely not true. There is a time and a place for both of these. We have nurses, we have doctors, we have pharmacists, we have advanced healthcare professionals on our team that are using a blend of both. doTERRA works with some of the leading hospitals in the country. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit and why they're able to do that, because we're here to bridge the gap. How can we look at both? Just this week, I used the modern approach. My son went up for a jump shot in basketball for a rebound. He came down just a little bit wrong on his left ankle, and we went to the emergency room for it to be x-rayed to make sure it wasn't broken. We're using the modern approach, but while I was in the waiting room for several hours waiting for the doctors to look at his x-rays, I was applying essential oils. And by the time we went back to see the results of the x-rays, I had the swelling down and his pain under control with my natural solutions, right? But we were still using both of them. There's a time, it doesn't have to be or, it's and both. Okay, so we really want to make sure. So today we're going to let's focus in on the natural approach. Okay, now again, we're not going to talk about oils yet, not quite yet. I want to talk a little bit about what are the three main causes of disease in the body. We're going to look at disease, because when we understand these concepts, then we can understand a little bit more behind why we're going to use doTERRA essential oils, right? I don't want you to just understand this is what you do. I want to understand why you're doing it. So what creates disease in the body? There's three main factors that cause disease in the body: nutritional deficiency, inflammation, and toxic overload. Okay, so we're just going to review each one of these areas real quick. Okay, so nutrition is at the core of our immune function. Okay, when our nutrition buckets in our body are filled, we function optimally with energy, clarity of thinking, good mood, great sleep, and a little to no inflammation, right? So I want you to think about how you answered before, those concerns that you want to really get to the root of. When we have good nutrition, we have all the gaps filled in. According to the Environmental Working Group, look at this chart, okay? 95% of US adults are deficient in vitamin D. 94% are deficient in vitamin E. 61% are deficient in magnesium, right? That's some astounding statistics, right? The nutrition buckets in our body are not full, which means most of us do not have great baseline health. The results of nutrient deficiency varies by body. Okay, so, but let's list a little bit of the few things that might happen in your body if you're deficient in nutrition. Inflammation, headaches, lack of sleep, foggy thinking, lack of energy, digestive issues. Lack of nutrition is the number one cause of poor health in this country. So if we are experiencing a lot of health issues, many times the first place that I look when I'm working individually with you, and you're all going to have access to an individual consultation with me or another member of our team, is that poor nutrition is the number one root cause of poor health. And we're going to look at what solution we have for that in just a minute. But first, let's look at inflammation. Okay, the root cause of most disease in the body is actually inflammation, right? So if our body's inflamed, it can't function properly. Okay, so the biggest contributors to inflammation in the body are going to be sugar. It's in nearly everything we consume now, stress, and lack of sleep. So how many of you had answered that you had stress and lack of sleep, right? Those were your two concerns. Maybe it's coming from inflammation. Where is our body inflamed, and it's also coming from toxins that we have going on in the environment. Some of those are controlled, some of them are not. Chronic inflammation is linked to diseases like autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, cardiovascular disease like high blood pressure and heart disease, gastrointestinal disorders like inflammatory bowel disease, IBS, those kinds of things, headaches, metabolic diseases like type 2, which we're going to talk a lot more about in just a second, lung diseases like asthma, mental illness like depression, and joint pain. So when we look at this, we're like, hey, remember, we're looking at natural solutions. And in natural solutions, we want to look at the root of what's going on. And if we just looked at nutrition and inflammation, how many, go ahead and put it in the chat, how many of your issues would be resolved? Or how many of your concerns would get better if the nutritional deficiencies and the inflammation, we could help get those under control, okay? Now, the third piece of this area that we're going to look at is going to be the toxic load to the body, right? So when we talk about toxic load to the body, we're looking at it as a source of disease. It refers to chemicals in our body that build up over time, okay? And so those chemicals are going to come from our environment, processed foods, fast foods, things like that, pesticide use. And a big one for women is our personal care products, our shampoos, our conditioners, our skincare, our hair care products, getting our nails done, all of those things. I'm not telling you to stop getting your nails done. I like to do that too. But we have to be aware of what's going on in our body. So a lot of this is just coming, this image just kind of shows where this is at. Some of this we can't control. Some of it we can. Now, so we've looked at these root causes of disease. Now let's start to move into what we can do with this information, okay? So we kind of know now, hey, we've got some root causes of disease going on. We know where they're coming from, that nutrition, that inflammation, and that toxic load. Now what are we going to do about it? Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is our nutrition. And just remember, when I'm going through some of this, doTERRA offers a lot of products. We have a lot of products on the market, and we're going to work with you individually. I'm just giving you kind of like that bird's eye view snapshot so that we can introduce you to some of these concepts. And then as you go through your journey, you're going to learn more and more about what to use, how to use it, and that's what we're here for, as your guide. That's what I love about doTERRA, is that you're not guessing on what to take because you go to a store shelf like Whole Food or Walmart or whatever, the supplement industry. I walk into Costco, there's supplements all over the place. So let me share a little bit of research from the Harvard Medical School. Okay, we're just about ready to see our first health solution. Okay, about ready to see it. But I want to take a quick look at the supplement industry. Okay, the supplement industry in the United States is getting larger and larger and larger. So here, on here, like put it in the chat, how many of you use some type of supplement, a multivitamin, omega, like a women's one a day, you're grabbing some of the turmeric at Costco, whatever it is. How many of you take any kind of supplement? You can put a yes in the chat. Now, let's take a quick peek at that supplement industry. A study by the FDA from 2007 to 2016 detected contaminants in over 776 dietary supplements produced by 146 companies. So this is something that I'm going to be sharing with you in the replay. So if you want to check this out for yourself, if you don't believe me, I'm going to link it to the actual study. A study of the 3 leading memory supplements found that 2 of them didn't contain the active ingredients listed on the label. That's one of the most scary things about the supplement industry, is that, and just in natural in general, there's no actual regulation on them. So a lot of the supplements, they can contain a lot of fillers and not much of the actual ingredients. Okay, so we have a PharmD on our team. She's a pharmacist, and she's done so much research on this. And one of the things that she had shared with us is that the majority of supplements, they have to put on the label. You might say, oh, but my supplement says I'm getting 5,000 units of this and I only need 2,000 a day. So I'm going to the more I take, the better. It's actually not true. And most of them are putting that on the label because your body isn't actually absorbing most of what's in their supplements. Okay. But But we go back to that nutritional deficiency. But what are we supposed to do? Because the majority of us, we're not getting what we need. Okay. So our American diet is saturated and our supplements are saturated. So what are we supposed to do, right? This is a root cause of disease. Do we have a solution? And the answer is yes. So I'm going to share with you, this was the very first supplement I ever took from doTERRA. And honestly, besides a prenatal, when I was pregnant with my first son, this is the first supplement I had ever taken. And the reason I started taking this is, number one, I was introduced to doTERRA through a wonderful human that had her double masters in sports nutrition and nutrition from BYU. And she knew a lot of stuff. She was a sports nutritionist already. So I really trusted her. I came into the relationship trusting her because I had a previous, she had helped me with some other stuff. And number two, I had a 9-month-old that I was breastfeeding, and I never felt like I had enough milk for him. I was drinking the water, I was doing everything people were saying, and I never felt I had enough milk for him, and he would not take a bottle. So we had a problem, right? We had a problem. I needed to feed my child, and I needed to not stress about this. So she said, Katie, I think you should take these lifelong vitality supplements. And so this is what I started taking in April of 2012, and I have taken them faithfully ever since. And so what I notice when I'm taking these are going to be micronutrients that fill the buckets our body needs. I like to think of our body like a giant jigsaw puzzle, and this comes in and fills in the missing link that we have for that nutrition. Okay, now 95% bioavailability for your body. So what we're getting in the supplements, our body is actually able to absorb, which is huge. And every single ingredient that's in that bottle, we will list on the label, and the ingredients are amazing. Okay. And so this is going to be the powerhouse and the first place that I always recommend people starting, whether you have, memory issues, any kind of, joint pain, anything like that. I always recommend starting with this. So if you're in the chat and you're already taking this, I want you to say yes. And I want you to share your experience just for everybody to be able to see that. Okay. Now, here's a couple of things. Don't believe me. First of all, there's a 30-day money back guarantee on the 3 bottles. So you can take every single one in the bottle. And if in 30 days you're not satisfied, you send them back to doTERRA. They're going to refund your money 100%. Okay. Here's also some clinical trials that are based on blood work that was taken before and after people took Lifelong Vitality. Subjects took the Lifelong Vitality supplement for 2 months and continued with their normal diet and exercise. Statistically significant improvements with blood lipids, fasting insulin, cardiovascular biomarkers, reduced triglyceride levels in the blood, cellular inflammation. And they also found positive effects on biochemical indicators of cardiovascular health, antioxidants, inflammation, blood glucose regulation, overall improvement in mental clarity, energy, motivation, control, balance, and happiness. Okay. So how I look at Lifelong Vitality is I kind of consider it as part of my food budget, right? I look at it as just part of the food I'm going to be taking for the month. And the price for this, it runs about $28 a bottle. You can pretty much, a lot of that other stuff you're taking, you can get rid of it. You can use this as part of our lifelong, or some of our super savings programs, and it's going to be a game changer, right? A game changer in your home. And if you don't believe me, you can try it. I promise you'll get your money back if you don't like it. But like literally, this is one of the best products that we have. Okay, now we also want to look at all of our digestive health. So some of you said that you have a lot of digestive issues going on, right? You're like, hey, I've got chronic digestive issues, things like that. Well, do you know that anything that's going on in our gut is going to affect our skin? So if we have skin issues going on, it's probably coming from the gut. Lots of different things are coming from our gut. And so we also have 2 other foundational products. So if gut issues are something you're looking at, or skin issues are something you're looking at, you might want to consider these as well. So we have our PB Restore. This is a newer product that we have. I am going to tell you, I had eczema on my hand for over 5 years, and it has been completely cleared up with the PB Restore, one every night for just for the last couple of months. And my digestive health is like spot on. I didn't think I had digestive issues before, but I did have some of the skin stuff, and this PB Restore has taken care of that. Okay. Terrazyme is going to be a digestive enzyme. You might be familiar with that if you're already looking at some gut health products. Terrazyme is going to help you break down the foods you're eating. So if you feel like your tummy is having some troubles breaking down, that is going to lead to helping break down the Terrazyme. Okay. And don't worry if you have gut concerns. This is something, again, we're going to work with you on to figure out, is this a product for you? Is this where I need to start? Do I need to add it in? Because I know some of you joining us, you already have your oils, and we might look at something like that. So one of the things that we need to understand is that when we have a healthy, what we call our gut microbiome, it balances bacteria for optimal health. It's going to promote good bacteria, so it also can help on the way down all the way out through the system. So our urinary tracts, things like that. Women, if you're getting a lot of yeast infections, balancing your gut microbiome can in turn help with your yeast infections and things like that. I know we got a lot of women, and that's a common concern. Also dryness, things like that in the vaginal area. It's also going to help with immune function. So if you find yourself constantly getting sick over and over and over again, this can also help, like taking a probiotic, especially if you're like combining those modern medicine approaches with wellness approaches. If you've been on a couple of rounds of maybe an antibiotic or something like that, you might want to take this PB Restore to kind of restore, so we can balance everything out and get you back onto that track of immune support, right? This is also going to help with your metabolism. So if you want to release weight, or if you're having low energy levels, our microbiome is going to help with all of that. Okay. So lots of really good stuff when it comes to our digestive issues. Okay. Now let's kind of shift over. We're going to shift gears a little bit to high blood sugar, right? So we've looked at this nutrition. Now we need to start to look at the inflammation in the body. And do you remember when I was talking about inflammation, I said that I said something about blood sugar, right? That the sugars that we are eating. I have this question for you. Okay. I want a little bit of interaction right now. If you guys can pop it into the chat. Wake up, everybody, wake up. Stick with me. All right, we're over halfway through. So go into the chat and answer the question. What percent has diabetes increased since the 1960s? Anybody have an answer? Okay, so Don says 3,000%, 155%. It's a pretty high number. Who are a couple of other people that have answers? 66%. Oh, Jill, you already answered. Okay, Julia says 66%. Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. It's almost 700%. That makes me almost cry. I know I'm saying that with like excitement, like it's a great thing that we have percentage of diabetes. Diabetes has increased since the 1960s by almost 700%. Okay, almost 700%. Okay, how many of you are like just shocked by that statistic? Now the second question I ask: how long does it take the average American to consume the same amount of sugar that our ancestors from 200 years ago would consume in a year? Diane Peterson does not get to answer because she was a health teacher and she knows the answer to this. 1 week, 1 day, 1 week. Okay, we're not quite there. Any more guesses? Okay, the answer is 2 weeks. So it takes the average American 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, to consume the same amount of sugar that our ancestors did 200 years ago. So great grandma that lived in, 1824, it would take her one entire year to consume the same amount of sugar that it takes us 1 week. That's a pretty big deal. Okay. Now let's keep looking. More statistics for you. Only 6% of the 6.8% of the US adult population has optimal cardiometabolic health. So what does sugar have to do with our metabolism and our cardiometabolic health? So if we look at metabolism in general, a lot of us think of metabolism as what we need to lose weight. I know that when I first started learning about metabolism, that's what I thought. Do you agree with that? What do you think of when you think of metabolism? Well, metabolism actually, there's five main indicators of metabolism that they big functions that they take care of, and that's going to be our cardiometabolic health, our cardiovascular health, our cholesterol, our blood pressure, things like that. It includes our blood sugar levels, whether that is your fasting glucose levels, your insulin resistance, those kinds of things. It affects your hormones. It does play a role in your ability to lose weight, and only 6.8% of us are healthy in this area, which means that 93% of us, of Americans, do not have optimal cardiometabolic health. But here's the thing, we've got a solution for you. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, we talked about lifelong vitality. We talked about some of those digestive issues. Now, what can we do for a concern if we want to focus in on our metabolic health? Okay, so this is an entire line that was introduced last year. We're going to be adding more components onto it next month that I'm really excited about. And so this line really pairs nicely with that lifelong vitality. This is going to come in and help with those nutritional foundations. And then this system, the MetaPower, is going to come in and help with our blood sugar, things like that, which is going to in turn help with the inflammation in the body. Okay. It was designed to specifically tackle poor cardiometabolic health, which, as you just saw, most of us are going to need. It pairs nicely with lifelong vitality, and it does three things. It addresses cellular repair that leads to aging, okay? It addresses blood sugar regulation and supports the inhibiting of fat cell absorption into the cells. The average American spends the last 14 years in a stage of declining health, right? So if we look at our later years, we're in a declining state of health. That is getting more and more as we age, right? So I want you to think of somebody you know in your life that is maybe over the age of 65, 70. Do they have vibrant health? Are they still living a vibrant lifestyle? Or are they already retired to their couch? Okay, where are they at in their health? And I know what I want. I want to live like my grandmothers did, well into their 90s, well able to get around. One of my grandmothers was still gardening several months before she passed. That's what I want. I don't want to be the flip side of my children's grandmother, who is very immobile and sits and watches TV all day and doesn't have a high quality of life at the age of 80. I'm going to do everything I can now to have that vibrant health. How many of you want vibrant health? Right? This system was designed to give us additional tools. Now, again, this is going to be with our diet, with our lifestyle. There's no magic. You can't supplement your way out of a shitty diet. Okay. Just doesn't work, or not sleeping or things like that. These are tools that we're going to add into the already healthy habits that we're creating, or we're going to help you shift your habits by incorporating some of these tools. Okay. So what does this system look like, and where do we start? Today, I'm only going to talk about one of the products because I want to keep this very basic and kind of as an intro for everyone, okay? Now, what I'm going to say is if you started with one product from this line, oops, let me see. I'm supposed to share with testimony. See, I told you I can't remember what I did. This is new. So I want to share a couple of testimonies with you of people that have been using the MetaPower and the benefits they've had, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, my cholesterol dropped 26 points, okay? And it really wasn't that high to begin with, but now it's in completely normal ranges, 26 points from taking this. I had blood work done relatively soon after taking this, and then I had it done about 9 months later, and my cholesterol had dropped 26 points, and my hormones are more balanced than they've ever been in my life. I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and a lot of the other things I was doing had almost gotten rid of it, but I was starting to have a lot of hormonal migraines when I had my cycle, and they have pretty much completely disappeared with this product. Okay, so here's a couple of other little testimonies before we talk about the MetaPower. So the gentleman on the bottom left experienced improved skin elasticity, and he had darker hair growth. Do you guys see that? Like his beard isn't as white anymore. Isn't that crazy? The young lady on the top has been using MetaPower for 4 months. She's had amazing results specifically to her face, hair, and eyes, right? Oh, well, something else to mention with the gentleman, he had a 40-point decrease in cholesterol, 25-point decrease in LDL, and a 57-point decrease in triglycerides. Okay, now let's look at the on the right. You see a 58-year-old woman who had red spots on her arms. Anytime she bumped herself, they would appear. Okay, how many of you have seen this? I've seen this several times in aging people where they get the red marks and the little things on their arms. Anytime she bumped herself, they would appear. Doctors biopsied and said it's just what happens when you get older. Just what happens when you get older. After using MetaPower for just 3 months, the spots were totally gone. She has seen other changes too: weight loss, thicker nails growing, and lower A1C. Okay, so this is the power of this MetaPower Personal Wellness Realized system. There's a lot to it. Right now, there's an entire system, and lifelong vitality. But here's the thing: when I'm teaching you how to incorporate essential oils into your home, I want to help you find solutions that work for you, but I also don't want them to be overwhelming. So we usually start with one thing and then we gradually add on. But I can tell you right now that the people I start with Lifelong Vitality Pack and this box have the most beautiful, drastic changes you can imagine in just a short time. I had a woman recently that I'm working with. She wasn't getting her cycle regularly, and within 45 days of taking that Lifelong Vitality MetaPower combo, she was getting her cycle regularly now. Okay. Another part that she had is she said, I feel like myself again. She came to me. She was an exhausted mama. She's got 4 kids. She's got a busy life. She was exhausted. And she said, I don't feel like myself. And the last time I talked to her, she said, for the first time in a long time, I feel like myself and I have my emotions back. She had kind of like disconnected. How many of us just kind of like, we get overwhelmed, we get busy, and we just disconnect from life? That's not how life is supposed to be lived. We're supposed to live in this vibrant state of vitality. Doesn't mean that we're going to have like roses every day. It just means that more days than not, we need to feel well in our body. And if I asked you right now, and you don't have to answer this in the chat, I want you to jot it down. If I asked you right now, do I feel well in my body 90% of the time? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you put down? How often do you feel well in your body? Are you feeling like on that scale of 1 being the worst and 10 being, yes, I feel like vibrant in my body? Where would you be on that scale? And let's take it, like say you said, hey, I've got a 5, let me help you take it to a 6. Okay, so the MetaPower Advantage is a collagen. There are so many collagens on the market right now. Collagen is like the hot topic word. Vitamins and collagen. People want to sell it to you. Okay, I'm not saying there's no other good collagens out there, but the comparisons I've seen, ours blows everybody's out of the water. So if you said you have brain fog, you have low energy, you have metabolic things going on, you have hormonal things going on, this is going to be your best friend. Okay, this one also has what we call NMN in it. You're going to be able to Google that on your own. NMN, write that down. And this is the cutting edge ingredient that is looking at these longevity genes and has the ability to reverse our aging. Plus, hair, skin, nails is going to be spot on. Okay, so if you want to deep dive into the MetaPower system or Lifelong Vitality, let me know. We do have classes that are specifically on this line, and I can share it with you. Okay, now we've talked a lot about our supplements and our foundations, which is always where I love to begin. But doTERRA was born, the company was born because of the essential oils. Most of you probably didn't even realize that doTERRA had supplements, right? You didn't even realize that there was something called collagen at doTERRA. Most of us came to doTERRA, or we know doTERRA because of essential oils. And the reason is doTERRA is the largest essential oil company in the world. Okay, the largest essential oil company in the world. and they have the best essential oils in the world. So here's a study that I just want to tell you about, and then we're going to go into some things that you can do with essential oils. There was a independent study by Roseman University of Health Scientists. And again, I'm going to link this for you. In this independent study, doTERRA oils were found to be therapeutically relevant in cell growth and rejuvenation. They were relevant in metabolic health and relevant in healthy inflammatory responses. Essential oils from different competitors had minimal effects. So they're saying like, hey, they tested all these oils to see if they were actually working. And basically what it's saying is that the doTERRA oils were working, whereas a lot of the other competitors had minimal effect. And most of them were not actually real oils. They had adulteration added or taken away to them. Okay, so a lot of people will be out there, oh, doTERRA is not, I found this other brand, it's just as pure. They're not passing all the tests. They're not doing all the tests, and doTERRA is. That's why you're going to find them in more research articles, okay? So if we look at the doTERRA difference, what makes them different? What makes them pure? Why are they showing up in these studies, okay? They don't have synthetic ingredients or fillers. Nothing has been added to them. Nothing has been taken out. Independent lab tests show that the majority of brands available to consumers aren't pure, right? So we'll give you that link later. We source our plants from the ideal environments. We have the ideal chemistry and consistency. We do every batch is tested over and over and over again for that potency, that purity. Make sure that when our body receives that oil, we're going to understand it just like that. It can be used topically, aromatically, and internally, depending on what your desires are. We can use them topically for diffusing. We can put them on our bodies. We can take them internally, which is what you're doing with a lot of our supplements. Most of our supplements, the reason they're so powerful is that they have had the essential oils added into them, right? And so then our body can absorb it a little bit more effectively, okay? People turn to doTERRA because they want safe, affordable, and effective solutions for their family's health, right? That's why I turned to doTERRA, right? I wanted to find a different solution to take care of my kiddos. I didn't want to do the mainstream ones. I didn't want to be the mom that was always at the doctor's office. I wanted to be the mom that had a solution in my home at 2 a.m. when my kids needed that solution. And it's evolved over the years, okay? So let's look at this. They're safe, okay? They're 100% pure. They're not gonna have anything added. They're not gonna have anything taken away. They're guaranteed to be pure. In fact, every single bottle has a little QR code on it. You can scan it and you're going to see all the test results for that exact bottle. Okay. They're guaranteed transparency. They can be ingested and they're plant-based. Other brands on the market are not going to be as effective. Like if you look at this picture on the side, this is a little girl that her grandmother ran out of her doTERRA lavender oil. And she said, hey, I'm just going to use whatever she just went to the store and grabbed some oils, or she had something else in her drawer that wasn't doTERRA. She used it in the exact same way she had been using the doTERRA oil. And look what happened to this little girl, right? We don't know what's in those other oils. So when you're choosing a brand, choose a brand that you trust and choose a brand that you know exactly how to use it, right? Because we don't want something like this to happen. And I've seen this happen over and over and over again. Okay, they're also effective, right? Remember we were talking about the modern approach versus the natural approach? And we were talking about how things were either covered up or we got to the root. We're going to get to the root with essential oils because they have the ability to pass through the cells. And that inflammation and the root cause of disease, it's happening inside the cells, right? So when we're using essential oils, they're going to be really effective because they're getting into the cell where those root causes are hanging out. They're also affordable. A lot of people tell me, oh, it's so expensive to use oils. There is an initial investment, right? But I want to show you this. I just had a mom that sent me a message that her little girl had some ear discomfort and she asked me like, what would you do for it? And I said, usually I use tea tree, melaleuca, and lavender, okay? So I want to give you this example is if I treat ear discomfort at home with my tea tree and lavender, and I do 1 to 2 drops 3 times a day for a couple of days, I'm spending about $1, maybe $1.50 for all those treatments. Okay. If I would go to outside care for that same ear discomfort, which is very typical if you're a mom, the visit is going to be that $15 to $75 copay. Sometimes it's a little bit different for everybody. We've got our prescription of $15 to $50. So that same ear discomfort is going to cost $30 at a minimum, up to $125. This does not include time that you might have to take off of work or some kind of disruption you might have to your schedule because your child has ear discomfort, right? I don't know how many times I've taken care of things like this at home with my lavender and my tea tree. Each bottle has 250 drops in it, and each application is 1 to 2 drops. Okay. So even though we have, like in my home, I'm going to be honest, there's a family of 5 using supplements, using everything. We probably spend about $300 to $400 a month in doTERRA. Okay. But we're also getting, all of our wellness tools. We're getting our shampoos, our conditioners. I'm not really running to Target for anything, but we have not really had any type of reactive medical care in our home for 12 years. So the cost savings that we've had far outweighs the investment into our health every single month. And again, remember, that's part of our grocery budget. That's part of our Target runs that I'm not going to. So it's pretty cool what essential oils can do. They are affordable. Now let's look at just some of our basic concerns. So at the beginning, I asked you those questions, and I should probably put that slide back in here so you can have a refresh about your inflammation, things like that were going down in the body. And everybody answered. So we went through some of the root things. So if we're going to get to the root things, we've got the lifelong vitality, we've got the collagen, and then we can start to play with oils. We can start to bring oils in. So here's some of my favorite oils for immune support. I'm going to give you one example today of what I would use, and you will be getting an ebook on essential oil basics with some more tips in them. But we're going to look at On Guard today. If I'm looking at immune support, if I could pick one oil from this group, it would be the On Guard. On Guard is an amazing protective blend. I have it diffusing in all of my diffusers right now because it's that time of year. Everybody in my home is benefiting. It's boosting my immune system. If I have a sore throat, I'm just going to put a drop down my throat. Lots of ways to use to boost our immune systems with these 4 oils, okay? Here's some basics in my medicine cabinet that I would have. I've got my root stuff going down, remember, my foundationals, then I'm going to start to bring some different things in. Lavender is going to be great as an antihistamine, skin issues, burns, and bites. Lemon is going to detox, cleanse, mood booster, mucus. Peppermint is great for energy, for focus. And don't worry, you're going to get all of this. Digestin, if I've got that time-to-time tummy issues coming up. Breathe with congestion, snoring. Right now, the air is so dry in Iowa. I've been using a lot of Breathe. If you have little ones, Breathe is a great one to put in the diffuser in their rooms at night while they sleep. It's going to help with that congestion, especially if they're little tiny. I think we have some people on here with tiny babies. It's going to help get them able to breathe. Okay. Maybe you've got some pain and inflammation. You got some chronic pain going on. These are going to be some of our household staples. My son told you, if you were listening at the beginning, he sprained his ankle. So he sprained his left ankle, and I think it was 6 weeks ago he sprained his right ankle. So he had just gotten back to playing, and now it's the left ankle. Do you know how much Deep Blue we're using on him right now? So much Deep Blue. He's taking Copaiba internally. When we were in the hospital waiting room, we were putting Deep Blue and Copaiba on him because they're amazing for pain. They're amazing for inflammation. This is where you can use it for head tension, things like that. These Deep Blue sticks, we have them everywhere. As we age, we get aches and pains. Maybe you're working on some healthy habits this year and you're trying to get more steps in. And your body's revolting, these are going to be some of the tools that you can use if you had pain and inflammation. You want some mood and emotional support? These are my 3 top oils for that. We've got Balance, Adaptive, and Serenity. So these are great to diffuse. These are great to put in roller bottles. These are great sometimes just to put in the palms of your hands and smell. Lots and lots of solutions. Okay, so I went through a lot of information. That was a lot of information, and I totally understand that, but I wanted to just introduce you to what was possible. There are so many solutions at your fingertips when it comes to doTERRA. I talked about lifelong vitality. We talked about digestive. We talked about root cause disease. I gave you a quick overview and snapshot of oils that you can use. After this class, you're going to be receiving a PDF, a download of an ebook, Essential Oil Basics. It's going to give you some more guidance. You're also going to be receiving a form in just a second that I'd like you to fill out. So I have a little bit more information on you. Plus, it's how we're going to do prizes, and I can get you mailings and prizes. I'm going to be drawing 5 prizes from whoever fills out the form by 2 p.m. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to have it by 2 p.m. Anyway, you're going to fill out the form. I'm going to have 5 prizes I'm going to send up because I want to say thank you for joining me today. But there's a lot to learn about essential oils. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. And one of the biggest things that people tell me when they come to me is that I just get overwhelmed. It's like this new thing I have to learn, and it's just too complicated, so I'm not even going to start. I invite you to think of it a little bit different. And if you're here today, you did think of it a little bit different, is to just make a decision to enter the door, to come with us, to come join us on this journey. I've been using essential oils in my home for 12 years. I have a confidence to know exactly what to do with the oils I have in my purse. You'll get there, but you have to say yes. You have to say, okay, it's time to take the next steps. And understand, just like any new skill you're learning, there's going to be a learning curve. But we're going to work together. We're going to give you resources. We're going to give you tools, and we're going to help you find solutions to whatever it is that you want to find a solution for. Okay? So now you might be asking, how can I get these oils in my home, right? So let's review that real quick, and then we'll get to the prizes, okay? So first off, you have to know there's 3 ways to buy essential oils. Number 1 is retail. This is like if you're gonna go to a chiropractor's office and you see or a spa, they've got an essential oil there, you're gonna pick it up. It's gonna be at the, it's the most expensive way to buy. And there's really no benefits. You're usually not getting connected to a person to be your guide, right? The second way to get essential oils is with a wholesale account. Everybody has access to a wholesale account, right? Anybody in the world has access to a wholesale account. And when you have a wholesale account, you get everything at 25% off. Works just like having a Costco card. It says on here there's only $35 for a full year membership. That has been waived. There's no fee to get started, right? So it's kind of like a no-brainer. There is a renewal fee of $25 every year. But when you pay that $25, you get a bottle of peppermint. So it's kind of a wash. When you have a wholesale account, there's no obligation to sell or teach. It's always an option, but it's not an obligation. And there's no obligation to even order monthly. So a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I want one of those pyramid scheme wholesale accounts. It might get me. It might come out and get me. We are not like that, I promise. Okay? Not like that at all. The third way to purchase is below wholesale. And that is where you get a little bit of additional savings because you get a collection, like we hook you up with a collection to get started. And then you decide you do want to opt into a monthly order. Say you're on that lifelong vitality, that collagen, you're going to be ordering it monthly. Plus a lot of times, many times with our, what we call our loyalty reprogram in the below wholesale, they're going to give you some additional savings for being part of some of our additional programs. Again, still no obligation to sell or to teach, and there's really not a big commitment level, okay? So those are really the 3 ways to buy and purchase. Super easy. So first of all, I know I have some people on here that already have wholesale accounts. If you already have access to a wholesale account and there's something that you want to talk about today, or want to order, there's something we talked about, you're just going to hop into your account, you're going to order, and it's going to get shipped to your door just like you are already doing. But I'm going to tell you that in just a little bit, when I give away the prizes and I talked about that form, I want you to fill it out too, because you also have access to wellness consults. So we can sit down and we can go through your health goals with you. You have access to all of that. If you are a wholesale account holder and you have not ordered since December of 2022 or later, there is a promotion for you this month, and we want to just make sure that you understand that. If you place your order in January with some of the stuff we talked about today, and then you order again in February, and in March, you're going to get 100 points back or $100 back. So if you haven't ordered for a while, please make sure you're reaching out to me so that we can help you get hooked up and get you back on track with your oils. Now, for those of you that don't have doTERRA in your home, let's talk about how you can bring it into your home and how you can say yes to entering into our beautiful oil community. Okay, so there's two ways to purchase when you want to say yes. You can get a kit or a collection, or you can build your own. There are a lot of collections available. I'm only going to show you two. I'm going to show you my two favorite, okay? When you work with the person that invited you, when they're going to send you their link to get started, we're going to help you find what works for you, what works for your budget, what works for your concerns, because the last thing I want to do is just sell you a giant package that you're not going to use, because that's not how we work. So the first one I want to talk about, this is the Natural Solutions Kit. This is one of our top sellers. This Natural Solutions Kit is going to give you that immediate lifestyle change, right? So it's a $450 investment, but the retail price of this one is $920. So you're saving over $670 with this one, right? Or wait, sorry, I said that wrong. You're saving almost $250 with this one. You're going to get all of those basic oils. You're going to get a diffuser. You're going to get supplements. You're going to get some toothpaste, some things like that. You're going to really be set up for your wellness with this kit. So this is just a sample of one option that you would have. The second one is the Healthy Foundation Kit. This one is going to be the Lifelong Vitality and that Meta Power line. So if you're like, hey, I just want to get to the root, right? If I just want to get to the root of what's going on, this is going to be your Lifelong Vitality and your Meta Power, and then you can add on oils. Any of these options, you can add on whatever you want, okay? So this is our Healthy Foundations Kit. Your cost is about $210. You're going to get a free membership. You get $44 of free product. And this is a really, really great foundational way to start. I have a lot of people that start here and maybe with one bottle of oil, and they really get to working through some of their root cause issues that they have going on. Or this is another very popular option, and this is a customize your kit. You get just what you want for your concerns and your budget. And so you're going to work with us, and we're going to create a very unique link for you that you just build whatever you want. You might be like, hey, I want some of that Meta Power, and I wanted some On Guard, and I want a diffuser, and I want some laundry soap. So you can create your own and get started. I think a lot of people are creating their own right now because, I mean, I get it. We want to, if we're going to pay for something, we want to make sure it's something that we're going to use in our home. And this custom kit is an option. Right now, until January 31st, so we have a few days till next Wednesday, we have a Healthy New Year campaign going on. And so what this is anybody that gets started, and you get started with about $100, you are going to receive a beautiful benefit in February. So you get started in January, you place an order in February, and in March, you're also going to get those $100 free, okay? If we upgrade you to get started with at least about $150, there's also a bonus of this free cute little bubble diffuser, which is one of our favorites. It's like a little motion activated one. I have it in my bathroom. So when you walk by, it goes and it spritz out a little bit of essential oils and keeps your home smelling really, really nice. So these are some of the samplings of what we have. Now, a couple of more things, and then we're going to wrap it up. There's a guarantee. I know a lot of people like to know that there's a guarantee in what they're purchasing. If for any reason you aren't completely satisfied and return your order within 30 days, you will get 100% product credit to try something else, or 90% returns back to your card. That's open product you've tried. So there's absolutely no risk to get started with this. There's a full 30-day money back guarantee on the Lifelong Vitality, right? So get something, get it, bring it into your home, start to use it, start to experience it, start to play with it, start to put the oils in your diffuser throughout the day, start to take these supplements, start to see how your body feels. That's what I did several years ago. I started to play with the products. I started to get curious. I started just to say, hey, is there another way out there for me to take care of my body? Okay, totally guaranteed. Now, what you can expect from our team is you're going to get a welcome packet with everything you need to get started using your oils. You're going to get personal coaching from the person that helped you get started. And if you're already a doTERRA member, make sure you're reaching out to that person that helped you get started for your personal coaching sessions to help you use the products you have in your home. Maybe you're like, hey, there's so many doTERRA products right now and I don't know if I'm getting the right results. That's what we're here for. You get continuing education classes, and we have an ongoing support of community. So we're going to make sure that you are connected, you are taken care of, and that you are loved when you join our team. This is not a like, I bought some oils on the internet and now I got to sit here and try to figure out how to use them. That's not how it works. Okay. Bear with me just one more minute. Okay. So, we're kind of ramping up this year. We want to teach as many people about essential oils as possible. And so we have this fun little keychain. And so we have this little keychain. And if you would like to learn how to get this keychain absolutely free, reach out to the person that invited you here and we will teach you how to get this keychain. All right. So two more things. And then we're going to get to do not leave until I give you the form, because you have to fill out the form so I know what you need and so I can pull the prices. Okay. And actually I'm going to drop the form in right now while we're finishing this up so you all have it. So you just click on that link, you fill it out really quick. I'm going to get all of your information and then I can get back to you, or I'm going to send this form along your answers to the person that invited you. And remember, it doesn't matter if you are already in doTERRA. If you're on this call, I want you to fill out the form. If you're listening to this recording, the link is going to be on the replay page to fill this out so we can get in touch with you. Okay, so let's go back to just one more thing. Okay, so some of you were on this call, and when I was going through things, you might have been thinking about some friends and family that had the issues at the beginning, right? Or you might have been thinking about, oh my gosh, this person needs it. I want to invite you to understand that there's three types of people once you have your wholesale account. There's a person that is saying, hey, I want to live the wellness lifestyle. And we have thousands of people on our team that are living the wellness lifestyle and loving it. There's some of you out there that once you have your wholesale account, you might want to start to share it with others. And we have lots of ways for you to share to get your products paid for. It's become easier than it's ever been before. So if you're like, hey, I can't get all the products I want every month because of my budget, let's teach you how to make it really easy to share. You can share in less than 2 hours a week. And that might be one of your options. The last type of person that joins, maybe they say, hey, I really love this and I really want to teach others about natural health care, and you want to build an income. So I started out living, then I went to share, then I went to build, and it was an evolution over time. So the last thing I want to talk about before we get to your form is this last event next Tuesday, the 30th, at the same time that we're meeting right now at 1 p.m. I'm going to be offering a little class. It probably will be about 30 minutes long to teach you and to explore with you a little bit more about what it means to expand in your health, your wealth, and your dreams with doTERRA. So what does it actually look like for me to share doTERRA with others, right? What would that actually entail? Kind of how many hours would it take, that kind of thing. And if you want to join that link is also going to be in the email, or you can scan the QR code. Oh my gosh, it's getting to the end of the day for me. You can scan the QR code and we will get a hold of you and we will get in contact with you, okay? All right, so the last part is that go fill out that Google form. We went through so much today. I am going to stop the recording, and if anybody has any questions, I'm here to answer any of the questions, but go ahead and take a couple of minutes to fill out the form, and then from that form, I will be calling doing a prize drawing. And when I do that prize drawing, I will get in contact with you and let you know that, hey, you want a prize. I might need your address so I can send you over that prize. Also, when you fill out that form, that kind of gives us a little bit of information so that the person that invited you to this call, they have all the information for you and they can follow up with you. We're going to be following up with you in the next couple of days. And we want to make sure that we're getting you all the information that you need. We're supporting you. We're loving on you. If you're ready to get your wholesale account, we can help you get connected with that wholesale account. And if you're not ready to get that wholesale account, keep coming back to these classes. We welcome you for education and everything that you are here for. So thanks everyone for joining me today. We're going to be getting this recording sent out. And if you have somebody that you wanted to share this with, just let me know and I will get the recording to you as well. So I am going to go ahead and hit stop on